all you need to find out is whether you should buy these or not. I'll tell you right now, yes, definitely buy these. And if that's all you needed from the video, just go ahead and subscribe and close the window if you want. But if you want to know a little bit more in depth of why I think this is so good, let's get into it. What is up, guys? John here, aka Bruce Lee. I'm a kickboxing teacher here from Canada. And I've also been training in Muay Thai for the past about 7 years. Is it 8 now? A while, okay? So today we're looking at what are the best boxing gloves for beginners or intermediate for Muay Thai, kickboxing, or boxing, since I don't really think there's a major difference between the three in terms of glove performance. But anyways, so it's going to be at least a 4-part series. We're looking at Fairtex, Hayabusa, and Venum, and then episode 4, and I'll have the playlist in the description below. Episode 4 will be a comparison of the overall best gloves of everything I've ever used. Today we're focusing a bit more in depth on these Fairtex ones, okay? So I do run through like a lot of boxing gloves because like I like to cycle through them, so I'm not putting too much mileage in any one of them. And like when you train as much as I do, like I'm teaching like 5 days a week right now, and like I usually train to 3 to 4 days a week right now, but I like at most it's gonna be like up to 6 times a week. So like, they seriously like get like a ton of mileage. So I want to know that they're A, protecting me, B, they're giving me some good value, and C, they're doing their job right. I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts on this. The criteria for how we're rating this today is gonna be the following, okay? Number 1 is going to be on protection. That's the first thing they're going to be doing. Number 2 is going to be overall comfort. And then number 3 is overall value and durability, since, you know, I like knowing that my money is going far. Before we get into it, guys, I do want to say that if you enjoy this, have fun in it, or just find any value in this video, I please ask you to consider subscribing to A, view the rest of my episodes, or see my other breakdowns and martial arts videos, or just leave a like at the very least, since it helps me out big time. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So these Fairtex gloves, like on Amazon, in terms of the Canadian site, because yeah, I'm from Canada, you guys, it's about 100 to 110 Canadian for this pair. In US, I was finding them for about 80 to 85 in USD, so a pretty like mid-range price. Like if you're a professional fighter, that's really just like peanuts compared to like the higher end gloves that you might want to do for like actual fights. But I think for like a beginner or intermediate, like $100 is definitely something to think about. It's not just pocket money, I would say, for most people. And like, yeah, I will say though too that like Muay Thai compared to like other sports, like it's not too expensive. Like it's not like a ton of let's call like equipment you need compared to like hockey or like football and stuff like that. So I think 80 to $100 isn't too bad, and I think these are good ones. So it's short and low, guys. If all you need to find out is whether you should buy these or not, I'll tell you right now, yes, definitely buy these. And if that's all you needed from the video, just go ahead and subscribe and close the window if you want. But if you want to know a little bit more in depth of why I think this is so good, let's get into it. So number 1 that we talked about is going to be protection. In terms of protection, there's really like 2 main things you want to look for. It's going to be knuckle protection, since that's the main thing you're hitting, and wrist protection, since that's what's the main thing that you could probably injure yourself when you're doing boxing or Muay Thai, okay? So these ones, the knuckle protection is really good. The padding up here, and these are like handmade like leather from Thailand ones, like they're all like pretty good in terms of like keeping the knuckles safe on the top here. I'd say like most gloves, even cheap ones, like, you know, padding on the top here is really like the main, if anything, if nothing else, that's what boxing gloves will do, is protect the top here, okay? What I also noticed with Fairtex ones is that they're not really like Hayabusa or Everlast one, where it's like you spend like $40, you get 3 features, and you spend $70, you get 5 features, and then like $100, you get like 7 features. Like it's not like shopping for computers. Like I think there's only like 1 or 2 Fairtex ones. So if you just want something like reliable, I think these ones are definitely good. The wrist protection is also really nice. Like if you see here, like if I bend it like this, it's not like I can just fold it in half without trying at all, which some of the cheaper gloves I definitely noticed that like there's a lot of bend here that's not necessary. When you put them on your wrist, I'll show you guys here. Like I throw really hard hooks, I would say, And if my wrist and my knuckles feel safe on like really hard hooks, I'm usually very happy with the gloves. And if you see here, I'm trying to do this with my hand right now, and within the glove, it doesn't move a whole lot. And even if I push like this to bend the glove, my wrist is barely bending when I do that. It's mainly just like the extra padding here. So like the wrist support, I feel like is really good in terms of protection. And as like a side objective, like side category of protection, I will say they're really good for blocking as well. Like you absolutely don't need to spar to learn Muay Thai. You can learn it for the cardio or just the technique, or you know whatever. You don't necessarily have to get in the ring and fight. And I would say like these are definitely one of the bigger, like more padded gloves I've worn. So like it feels nice to block because it literally feels like freaking Captain America's shield. You know what I mean? So if that matters to you, that's another good part of this. So overall, I would say in terms of protection, it's a 10 out of 10. And that's why even if they were like 20 bucks more in US or Canadian, I'd say you should still buy them based on that fact alone. But let's look at the next category. So this one is going to be on overall comfort. Now, I'm going to be comparing this to what I think the most comfortable gloves are, which are my Hayabusa T3s, which I have on the floor here. So I'll do a separate review in a future video on these. So if you want to know more about this is actually my preferred glove for right now. Anyways. Comfort, I'm going to give these Fairtex ones a 9 out of 10. They are really comfy, and I'm going to tell you exactly why they're not a 10. They are still really good. So if you look right here, you see this kind of like a bar that sticks out on the side of the glove. What I find that's really uncomfortable in some like cheaper gloves, that like your hand inside the glove will actually go like in and out, like forward and back like this. And if there's too much extra room in the glove, your arm will move side to side like this within the glove. Like it's not like tight. So imagine you're wearing shoes that are too big for you. Like say you're a size 10, you're wearing size 12s. Like how much chafing happens with that extra room in the shoe? It absolutely happens to like poorly designed gloves as well. So if you look at like cheap like $40 gloves, that might be something you want to look out for, is like how much extra leeway there is. Whereas I feel like this bar here, or this extra padding on the side, definitely helps. Because when I have the gloves on, like this is filling up some of the space. So like within the glove, my arm is not moving like side, like there's no give. There's no side to side or forward back motion here. My arm is not slipping in and out. So I think that's really good. The only reason I don't give it a 10 is that like the inside lining here, like the plastic, whatever, like the leather, I'm not too sure. It's definitely like plastic or some kind of something synthetic here. It's not like silky smooth like the Hayabusa ones I have, or maybe I'm just being a baby, but they definitely put like some soft plush like toilet paper, like Charmin stuff in here. So compared to that, like it's not quite a 10. If you're wearing wraps or you're just not a freaking baby like me, I'm sure maybe that doesn't matter, but that's the only reason I'm not giving it a 10. If you look at the breathability, I'll see if like I can get it to focus. There's like 5 holes here for like breathability, and then the size of like hole punching like on a piece of paper, like a duotang. So like it's a bunch of leather which, you know, traps moisture and air, and then like 5 little tiny holes to let it breathe. I don't know if it's enough. And that's why also I swap out my gloves so frequently, is I don't like to stink up any one set of gloves. So I usually like try to use one for like a week or two, and then use the next one, and let the other ones like fully dry out and freshen up. So I'd say this could use a little bit more mesh for breathability. Would that take away from the protection they have though? I don't know. It is something I noticed that although the protection is really good, I think the breathability could be slightly better. So for that reason, that's why that particular score on comfort is a 9. And the one thing I will say too is that like there's a little bit of missed opportunity on the strap here. This is for most gloves that aren't the Hayabusa ones. So the Hayabusa ones, they actually have the straps in that like the straps are a part of your wrist support, if that makes sense. Whereas for most gloves, the only thing that the Velcro does is keep the glove on your wrist or on your hand, which sounds obvious. That is what the Velcro is for. But like some of the more like engineered products, so some of the Everlast and a couple of the Hayabusa ones I use, like the strap is more than a strap. It's part of like the glove's design. Whereas on the Fairtex ones, it's really just there to hold it down. Like it doesn't do a whole lot. Again, not necessarily a bad thing at all, but it's the only reason I don't give it a 10. Okay, still really good. Now let's talk about the last category, which is going to be overall value, and I put durability in here. Now, like these Fairtex ones, I'll try to find, if I haven't put in footage already of me using these, I usually wear my black ones. So I have 2 pairs, and both of them hold up super well, everyone. Like, they've taken like thousands of punches and, you know, dozens of hours of training, and they still hold up super well. Like, the padding feels like, eventually, like, you will like feel the padding get like thinner or not as much, but even after thousands of punches, I feel like there's still a whole lot of life left in these. So for $100 Canadian, I think that's really good. There are like $40 or $60 gloves you can find out there, and I will cover that in episode 4 when I compare like a bunch of different gloves with each other. But I would say if you spend the extra like amount there to get like these $100 or $80 gloves, I think it's super worth it, you guys. Like, that bang for buck on these, I don't think it's going to be really hard to beat, is what I'll say, okay? So definitely a 10 out of 10 on value. I highly recommend that you use these, whether you're sparring, which means like in Muay Thai you might be catching kicks, which you got to use an inside hook here, or you're blocking, using this as a shield, or just hitting the bag. Like, I usually use like 100-pound sandbags at the gym I train at. Like, whatever it is, I think these guys perform super well, and at $80 to $100, I think you can't go wrong with that. So 10 out of 10, would recommend overall. If you enjoyed this, guys, or found it helpful, again, please leave a like and subscribe, because I will be doing like $80 Hayabusa ones, I'll be doing $200 Hayabusa ones, I'll be doing Venum ones, and I will be doing like breakdowns for like a whole variety of gloves and equipment that I think you should be using, whether you're beginner or intermediate or whatever. I also do martial arts breakdowns and like fitness and nutrition tips, so if that stuff interests you, please stick around, because I'd love to hang out with you again. That's it for now. Check out episode 2 later on, and I will catch you next time.